about to head out. Just literally for an hour because I'm gonna go eat lunch outside. So I can maybe whiff the outside air a little bit because I have been home the whole morning, which is fine, and I will continue to be home for the rest of the day, but I shall take advantage of the delicious school lunch that is provided to me at an exceptional price. So, just curling my lashes a little. I don't even need to do this, but I have a little bit of time before my bus comes, so might as well do a little something. I don't know. But yeah, this will be my only stepping outside because the weather does not look that delicious. It's like, it's white outside. So I'm happy staying home, but there's some good food at the university restaurant. So this is my very, I just threw this on outfit, jeans and my college, or what is this, a sweater. I'm just gonna be taking this bag, which literally will only carry my book because that's the only important thing, is I need to have my book with me because I will be reading during those 10 minutes on the bus, that's for sure. That's the moon and it's so pretty. So I did end up finishing The Story of a New Name. It's been a couple of days now already. Or not a couple days, today's a Monday. I finished this on a Saturday, and yesterday I didn't read at all. But this was amazing. This is the second book in the Neapolitan novels series. I'm gonna take just a tiny break and read something else before I move on to the third book because these are so vast and you can get sucked into it. Like, I want to know the rest of the story, but I think a little break will do me good so that I don't get tired of it, even though I don't think I could ever get tired of it. But I did end up giving this book 5 stars because how could I not? These stories are so well written, so well crafted. The characters, the way Elena Ferrante describes the characters almost from a psychological point of view, how she analyzes them, how the thoughts and insecurities and feelings that these characters have are so authentic and so real, and they grapple with topics that I feel like everyone has gone through, especially the main character's insecurities and all of her thoughts and kind of the dynamic between her and her best friend, which is, it's such a complicated relationship, and there's a mix of jealousy and envy, but also love for the other person. It's hard to actually pinpoint what their relationship is because they love each other, but they also envy each other, are jealous of each other, want to be better than the other, but also don't want the other to suffer. It's a very complicated relationship, and not even just their relationship, but all the relationships and characters that are explored in this book are so complex. And when I was reading it, there was like a spot there was like a whole page of Elena's thoughts, and I was reading it and I was like, wow, it is astonishing to me how somebody can write so well and so masterfully and just craft such a story and these characters that are so real. And it kind of made me emotional, just the thought that somebody has actually written this book. Like, there are so many amazing people in this world. We humans are crazy. I'm just in awe. I think it's very cool and amazing that somebody can do that. But my next read is going to be something completely different. I just saw this. Yeah, I was just browsing the bookstore one day and I saw this cover and I thought it looked so fun. And it's Dallergut Dream Department Store. So I think it talks about dreams. And I love dreams. I love dreaming. I think that's a very interesting topic to also reflect upon, like dreams. Where do we go when we dream, etc. But I think this is just maybe a fantastical fantasy. I also read the back a little bit. It says, there's like a little store where all kinds of dreams are sold. So maybe like when people fall asleep, we all go into this Dallergut Dream Department Store and we order a dream or something. So that's kind of cute. This is also from a Korean author. So I don't think I've really read like fantasy fiction or like, yeah, this is fantasy. I don't think it's magical realism. So I don't think I've read any from a Korean author or even Asian author in general. Like translated fiction. I have read from an Asian author, but who wrote it in English, but I've never read like translated fantasy literature. So I'm actually really excited for this, and it's quite short. It's like 200 pages, and I don't know, I think it's just really, really cute. I love the colors in it. When I saw this in the bookstore, I love browsing bookstores, not to go buy anything, but to just see what books draw my attention, because I feel like, especially when I consume quite a bit of book content, all of my recommendations kind of come from somewhere out of myself, or I already know something about the book because someone recommended it to me, or not recommended it to me, but I saw someone talking about it and recommending it. But I also think it's kind of fun to pick up books yourself, even browsing your library, browsing your bookstore, and seeing what you yourself are drawn to, just even from the cover, maybe after reading the blurb a little bit, and then reading it so I can form my own opinion. Because I don't know, I haven't seen this around ever. I don't know what people think about this, so it's kind of fun to make my own opinion, discover a book that I haven't heard of before. And yeah, I'm really excited for this. So I will start reading it a little bit now before I have to go to school. It's already like almost 12 p.m. I don't really have that much studying to do today. We are meeting up though to do some type of group project, but I have some time to spare right now, so I kind of wanted to start this because I did end up starting it yesterday even though I wanted to. And maybe I'll also vacuum and stuff. But yeah, these are the books that I have. Milk Fed was so good. My Brilliant Friend was good, but The Story of a New Name is even better. And I feel like the series is just gonna continue to be even better and better. But yeah, I'm gonna go read now. I've been rambling for way too long. I'm getting ready for work at the moment. I'm gonna put these really cute earrings. I like to wear these at work because they're like small, but you can still see them, because my everyday earrings are usually hoops, like bigger hoops, but I don't really think they're appropriate for work. But I really like these. They're like a sparkly little heart. I think they're really cute. My scent of the day is gonna be Aqua Allegoria Mandarin Basilic by grwm. This is the only high-end perfume I own. And even though it's a very cloudy, kind of rainy day today, I was really drawn to this because I haven't worn this in a while. It's so juicy and refreshing. It is more of a summer or spring type of scent, but despite the weather, I was really pulled to this. It's such a juicy mandarin and orange, and the basil comes through, which gives it a really, really lovely earthiness, or like a green vibe. I just really like it. It is quite simple of a scent, but it's really nice. I'm just gonna do my daily makeup right now. Well, it kind of depends. Sometimes I don't wear makeup. Today I feel like doing something. So I just use Essence's concealer. I use quite a bit of Essence makeup because it's cheap and vegan and cruelty-free, and it works like well enough. So I just put, and I usually just blend with my fingers and then go in with a brush afterwards. But yeah, I have work today from 1 p.m. until 6 p.m. which I used to not like evening shifts or closing shifts. I used to love only morning shifts, but now I've been given more closing shifts, and I actually like this because I love having the morning to myself. Like today I woke up at 8 a.m. or something, and I've just had such a relaxing and chill morning. And having work in the middle of the day is actually perfect because then it gives me something to do during the day, because I would need to anyway fill it up with some sort of activity. So me having the morning free to myself and then going to work. And since the cafe that I work at closes quite early, it closes at 6 p.m. already, I still have time to do things after work. Like today I will see my family and we're gonna watch the newest season of The Last of Us. So season 2 episode 1. And I like Last of Us. I don't actually have that strong opinions on it, but I like anything that I'm watching with my family. It's more like just actually being with my family and having something that we can watch together weekly. Since we don't live together anymore, it's good to kind of have a show so that we're obliged to see each other every week. Well, we're not obliged, but it's good because I feel like if there's no show or anything to, like, not a set thing, it's harder, or I feel like it's easier to then end up not making plans as frequently. So this is really nice to have something that's a constant, that we do see each other every week at least once, because family time is so important. Oh yeah, and I just went in with Baby Got Bronze liquid bronzer by Essence. This is actually really nice. It gives my face some color again, but I've been so pale now that it's winter. Okay, it's not winter anymore, but after the winter, so I cannot wait for the sun to come back out. Like I said, today's kind of a gloomier day, but that's nice. I'm actually so happy that it's a gloomy day, because gloomy days are the perfect weather to work at a coffee shop, because when it's warm, it's always super busy because we have a terrace thing, and also it gets super hot in my cafe. So gloomy days are actually super perfect. And I roughly just set my face with, this is broken, but it's All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder by Essence. So this is kind of the base that I've been doing nowadays. I don't know why I haven't felt like putting on blush, but if I were to put blush, I would use Florence by Mills Stellar Sabrina. This is also broken. These types of packages just do not work, and this looks disgusting. So yeah, but if I were to wear blush, I would wear this. But I haven't really been vibing with blush nowadays. I don't know why. For my eyebrows, I go in with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and I just do the ends of my brows quite lightly. I feel like I already have brows that are quite filled on their own, but I like to add a little definition to the ends. And I add this Got To Be waterproof eyebrow gel. This is the only eyebrow gel thus far that I've found that actually like glues my eyebrows into place, because I feel like my eyebrows just naturally kind of go downwards, and this is the only one that makes them actually stay where I put them for the whole day. And that's what we're working with. And then I kind of debate always, do I want to do anything with my eyes, because I do like to do a small eyeliner, but I think today I'm only gonna curl my lashes and not do any eyeliner. And if I were to do eyeliner, I like to just use an eyeshadow, like a brown colored eyeshadow. Can you tell I've abused this color? But there's so much left. I've had this is my sister's old one, and we've had this for probably 8 years, which is kind of concerning. But yeah, if I were to do eyeliner, I would use that as a base, and then sometimes I layer on with black or a liquid eyeliner. I actually want to get a brown liquid eyeliner or a brown like eyeliner pencil, so I actually have to look into that. But today I think I'll just curl my lashes and that'll be the look. So quite natural still. To set my face, I use the All Nighter spray. I just use this every day, even if I have a light makeup on. I think it works. It also is nice to kind of have a spritz and it feels like the routine is done. I do my lips, but I always do that later because I carry all of my lip products in my bag. So I usually do my lips when I'm on the bus or when I'm in the bathroom or something. But that is the makeup look. It basically looks like I didn't put any makeup, but I like it. I do look pale on camera still, but in real life, there's a bronzier glow going on. Trust. It's been multiple weeks since I last filmed for this video, but I decided to just include more clips because I've been reading some more. So I finished the third book in the Neapolitan novels series. And since I already talked about the second book in this video, I was like, we might as well touch on the third book. When I was in London, I literally found this in the used bookstore because I had this on my Kindle, but I hadn't borrowed it from the library like the other two. And I own the fourth book because I found that like 2 years ago from the used bookstore. But yeah, I found this for like £3 at a used bookstore in London. But it was perfect because I have been enjoying physical books a little bit more than my Kindle right now. And this one was hefty, so it did take me a couple of weeks to get through this. I feel like there were points in this when it felt very long and like it was dragging, but I don't know if that's just because I've read all 3 books consecutively, one after the other. Of course, I had that Dallergut Dream Department Store in the middle, which I also have to touch on that because I never came back to tell you guys about it, even though I did end up finishing it. But yeah, I think I will take a little bit of a longer break from this before I jump into the fourth book. But not to say that this wasn't good. The narrative style and the way that it's written, it's always very similar because Elena goes on these tangents. Sometimes there's like so much coming out of her head, like brain dumping. It almost sometimes feels like I'm reading someone's brain dump because sometimes there's just so much information like consecutively. But I still love it. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain how I feel about this one specifically. But I did like it, and the ending especially made me very, very intrigued for the next book. Elena has done or made some very interesting choices in this book specifically, and I feel like this book touched a lot more on the motherhood aspect and womanhood in general, and kind of the contrast of Elena's versus Leela's life. Or Lena's life. I don't know. It was good. It was good. I think I would have to give it a 3.75 or something though. Round it up to a 4 rather, because it is still very good. But it was just a lot. I mean, it's a long book. It has a lot of stuff in it. I was entertained, but I feel like sometimes I couldn't maybe absorb everything that was being said just because it was kind of an information overload. Sometimes it is a little bit of an information overload. There's just so much happening in their lives, even though it's like very simple to follow, but all the small interactions with people, all the small conversations they have, it like accumulates. But yeah, I am though very excited for the fourth book, and I can't even imagine that I'm already on the fourth book and there's only 1 book left in the series and then it's gonna be over. I don't know how I feel about that because this is genuinely amazing, but I also really, really, really want to watch the show of this because before I even read the books, because I only now started reading the books, when My Brilliant Friend first came out, like I remember being a lot younger and we watched the first and maybe even the second season with my family, and it was so good. And ever since that, I've been wanting to read the books because obviously I want to read the books, that's the original story. But now I'm so wanting to continue the series and actually see this book come to life, and even the second book, because I'm not sure how far along to the series I got. But I want to see this like in action. And sometimes I don't know if it's only me, but if I started watching something based on a book before I read the book, I usually like the movie or show more because I guess that was my first impression of it, and then I compare the books to the show or movie. I don't know. Like the Harry Potter series, I watched the movies first and then I read the books, and even though I love the books, the movies hold a more close and dear special place in my heart. But I don't know if I've ever had a situation where I have read the book before watching the movie. So maybe I should do that sometimes and maybe see if this is a real thing or if it's just something perceived in my brain. But it also might have to do with the fact that the HBO interpretation or adaptation of this series, personally, I think was done very well, because I remember when I read the first book, I thought that it was very, very similar to the series. So basically the series incorporated everything that was in the books into the series, which I think is very important. But also that's why I now want to watch the show as well, because I watched it so long ago that I don't actually remember everything that was happening or how it was narrated. And I want to see how much more the books give of like Elena's thoughts and context and everything compared to the show. So I might actually watch it this summer. I'll have to put it in my bucket list or things I want to do this summer, because I definitely want to finish the 4th book before I do that though. To continue on my rambling, I did want to touch a little bit on Dallergut Dream Department Store since I introduced it or showed it to you guys in this video. So that one I already finished probably a month ago. Since it was such a short book, it was quite easy to get through, but I didn't love it. I don't remember if I even really took much time to reflect upon it or give it a review. So I'm just piecing my thoughts together right now, so I don't know if this will be coherent. But I remember it was like a sweet book. It was a story about like dreams, and when people dream, they go to this Dallergut Dream Department Store, and then it basically followed this girl named Penny who started working at that dream department store, and it kind of just went along on Penny's journey as she's working there, and it just introduced the world and the whimsical characters and just the whimsical world in general. But I don't know if I fully loved it. I didn't love or care so much about the world or the characters. I thought it was a fun idea, but nothing really stuck out to me as very profound or even super fun or interesting. But it was like decent. Now that it's been probably a month since I read it, that's honestly all I can remember from that, which will probably give you everything you need to know. So maybe I put it at like a 2.5 or 3 stars. I don't think it's a bad book, but definitely not one that I care about. I didn't form any attachments to the characters, or I just didn't care that much about the world in general. Maybe the execution or something in it wasn't my favorite. I'm not sure. I will tell you what I'm going to read next. Since I finished this a couple of days ago, I haven't read anything for the past couple of days, but I downloaded a few books on my Kindle, some short books, because I feel like I've been reading just pretty long, hefty books. Like it took me a while to get through this, so I want a few shorter books in between to kind of cleanse my palette. And right now I'm going to start A Room of One's Own. Was that? Let me look. Okay, it was not A Room of One's Own. It's A Room with a View. I don't know if you can see it, but it is E.M. Forster's A Room with a View. I just remember somebody talking about this. Maybe it was Melissa. I love Melissa, but yeah, I remember her talking about this. Maybe, I don't know exactly if it's her, but saying that this is a good spring book, and it is May right now. So, and then also I've been seeing just online in general this book called, I cannot remember for the life of me any of these names. The Hour of the Star by Claire Lispector. Like, by Clarice Lispector. Yeah, The Hour of the Stars. So that is also what I want to read next, but I will first read A Room with a View and then The Hour of the Star. The Hour of the Star. I don't know. I just need to stop because I've been talking too long that all my words are jumbling up and I can't speak anymore. But this is what I will be reading next, and it is a very, very beautiful day today. Let me show you outside. Wow. Even though it's May right now, it's been quite cold. It's been less than 10 degrees, maybe like 7 degrees on average every day, and like a lot of wind. But it seems like it's getting warmer, so I'm happy about that. And I do have work again. I have to leave in maybe 20 minutes or something. But that's what I've been reading. I don't know if I'm gonna end the video here, because this is probably already a long video because I've just been rambling so much. But I will definitely be probably doing a reading wrap up or books I've read this spring. So you'll hear all my many more thoughts and opinions on books. But I might end this here. Yeah, I hope you have a nice day. Bye!